You know that feeling, right? That constant pull between what's logical and scientific and what's, well, more intuitive, more spiritual. Today we're going to dive into this really beautiful fable about a woman named Sonia. And she didn't just figure out how to live with both worlds, she found a way to bring them together.
It's science, but it's also soul. I mean, that one line from our main character, Sonia, just says it all, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of this big, timeless question. Do science and soul have to be separate? You know, the hard facts versus our intuition? Well, this story basically says no way. In fact, it argues that they have to come together if we ever want to see the deeper truth of things.
All right, first up, let's meet Sonia. The story kicks off in her little house, but honestly, it's more like a sanctuary. Just imagine this space, absolutely overflowing with books, tape recorders, and, just dreams. It's basically the perfect lab for someone who's about to try and tune into the universe itself.
So when we think about looking at the sky, what comes to mind? Telescopes, right? Something you look through. But Sonia, she had a totally different approach. She used her heart as a kind of instrument to actually listen to the sky. And here's the key thing. This wasn't about her throwing science out the window. Not at all. It was about adding something to it, a much deeper way of perceiving things.
And look, this wasn't just some passive, fuzzy feeling she had. Oh no, this was a real, active practice. We're talking every single night, she'd be setting up all her recording gear. She wasn't looking for the light from the stars that we can see. She was searching for their invisible sounds, these hidden melodies. It's like she was trying to tune in to a completely different frequency of the universe.
So, the big question is, what in the world was she actually recording on those tapes? And maybe even more important, how do you explain something like that to everyone else, to a world that's pretty skeptical? Well, this gets us right to the core of her whole idea, building a bridge between reason and the heart.
And yeah, as you can probably guess, the people around her were baffled. I mean, her equipment starts picking up actual voices and images from space. So, of course, the questions just start pouring in. Is this magic? Is it some kind of trick? And let's be honest, these are the exact same questions we ask whenever we come across something that just doesn't fit into our neat little box of reality.
Well, Sonia had a name for what she was doing. She called it transcommunication. And her definition was perfect, a way that was both magical and scientific. See, it wasn't about choosing one or the other. It was about fusing them together to connect with consciousness from way beyond our everyday world.
And this is why that metaphor she used is so brilliant. When people pushed her for an explanation, she didn't hit them with a bunch of complicated jargon. Nope, she just gave them this simple, really powerful image. She was building a bridge that finally lets the cold, hard logic of our brains meet up with the warm intuition of our hearts.
So what happens when you spend all your time listening to the universe? Well, apparently, the universe starts to listen back. All of Sonia's work was leading up to this huge turning point in the story. A special messenger arrives, and he's bringing some serious wisdom with him.
I mean, just try to picture this scene. Sonia's there, with all her gear, in the middle of the night, and suddenly, this brilliant golden light just appears in a room. This isn't something on a tape recorder anymore. This is a real, tangible thing happening right in front of her. And this light comes together to form this elegant, wise-looking being.
And this being, he introduces himself. He says, "I am Zeus Wren, traveler of dimensions." His whole purpose becomes clear right away. He's not here to just hand out a bunch of answers. He's here to help us remember something we've forgotten, that what we think of as reality is just a tiny, tiny sliver of what's actually out there. So Zeus Wren lays out these three really profound teachings. First, he says, every single thought we have has real energy, a real impact. It's like throwing a seed out into the cosmos. Second, he says that emotions like joy and kindness literally make the stars shine brighter. And get this, third, he says even our sadness isn't a waste. It can actually be transformed into beautiful things like music and life. Okay, so now that Sonia is armed with all this incredible wisdom, her mission becomes crystal clear. She needs to share what she's learned, and she starts with kids, using this really simple but really powerful metaphor to explain these two different ways of seeing the world. And the way she explains it to the children who come to visit her is just perfect. She shows them her recordings and says, look, science is absolutely essential. It helps us record things, register them, prove they happened. But spirituality, that's what teaches us to understand it, to feel it, to let it change us. It's like science gives you the what, but spirituality gives you the so what.
Then Zeus Wren chimes in with another fantastic metaphor for life. He says, science, that's like a magnifying glass. It's amazing for looking at all the tiny, intricate details on one single leaf. But spirituality, that's like the window. It lets you see the entire forest. And his point is, you absolutely need both. You need the magnifying glass and the window to see what the story calls the whole of life.
So all of this, it's all leading up to the biggest lesson in the whole fable. It's the culmination of everything Sonya's been through and everything Zuzerin taught her. The story calls it the Great Alliance, an alliance between knowledge and love. And over time, that's what Sonya becomes known for. She's not remembered as some mystic telling crazy stories. No, she's remembered as a real pioneer. The woman who showed everyone that truth isn't just one thing. It's something you can measure with your tools, something you can feel in your heart, and then something you can share with everyone else. And really, the moral of the whole story is what the stars taught Sonya, is that science and spirituality, they are not enemies fighting each other. They're sisters, they're family, and they're meant to walk hand in hand, helping all of us grow with both clear-eyed wisdom and a totally open heart.
So, this fable doesn't just end there. It leaves us with a pretty powerful question for ourselves. This isn't just a story about some woman who talked to the stars, right? It's really an invitation to look at our own lives, our work, how we see the world, and ask, where can we build that bridge? Where can we put the magnifying glass and the window together to finally see the whole picture?